Inspector Wong. She will take care of this case. Inspector Wong.
Inspector Wong?
Hello, I'm Kuro. Nice to meet you.
I'm Joey.
Spy Games is a 1989 action comedy Hong Kong movie. The movie currently has less than 100 ratings on IMDb. The movie was in theaters for 15 days in May of 1990, according to the HK Movie Database. In further research, that really doesn't seem to be all that abnormal for a movie to run that quickly there. I took a chance on the movie solely based on the cover. The movie is a little light on the action in comparison to most HK fare I watch, but it was a lot of fun. I have a bad habit of making video essays on media that I enjoyed and that I want to introduce to others, but that is hard to find. This of course means that the movie or game was never really popular, and certainly won't be generating views. If I can then convince even a few of you to take a chance on one of my recommendations, it will be worth it. Like I said, the movie didn't end up having a lot of action, but it did end up being very enjoyable. A Japanese singer named Takako, through a series of pranks and misunderstood situations, is convinced that her father is in danger in Hong Kong. We do find out later in the script that her mother told her that her father died long ago. Either way, that might be a weakness in the script or just the subtitles. She is told her father is in danger from the KGB. She abandons her band right before a big concert and rushes from Tokyo to Hong Kong without telling anyone. Her decisions from here on make her seem pretty harebrained. She does end up getting connected with a news anchor who tries to help her despite the language barrier. The news anchor is a hypochondriac, and it gets him in trouble with his boss throughout the movie as he botches basically every news broadcast. His childhood friend Lee is a rival news anchor right next door, and as if that wasn't enough, Ken, the news anchor, is dating the sister of his rival Flash friend Lee. His friend Lee even has an apartment on the same street to make sure that Ken is being faithful to Lee's sister. Ken helping Takako is not going to help the relationship with his girlfriend. Through happenstance, coincidence, and mistaken identity, Takako really does become embroiled in a plot between the KGB and the CIA, with each side thinking Takako is an informant for the other one. One of Takako's bandmates and her manager come to Hong Kong to try to track her down before the big concert and seek the local police's help. This leads to a romantic triangle between the bandmate Kudo, the band manager, Miss Yoshikawa, and the local detective Joey. It does all finally come together through an increasing series of coincidences. The film even has a musical number in the middle sung by Ken and his friend Lee that was pretty good. The movie ends with the big concert, going into the credits with a musical number. It's not really serious fare or hard action, just a lot of goofy fun. The main character, Takako, was played by Noriko Uzumoto. She was a singer who made her debut in 1988 for the band Splash, but left to pursue acting. I've only found about 3 movies to her name, so I'm not really sure what became of her career. She does fine, but the script does make her seem mostly brainless. Ken is played by Kenny B. He was in Initial D, Millionaires Expressed, Fist of Fury 1991 and its sequel, and had bit parts in a lot of HK classics. As was pretty common for stars of the day in Hong Kong, he had a music career on the side, and it really shows in a good way with his singing in the film. He directed one movie, 100 Ways to Murder Your Wife, in 1986. His friend and rival Lee is played by Wes Lee, who I just talked about in my video about Bullet in the Head. I've mentioned him so many times on the channel at this point that I don't see the need to get into it again. It's a different kind of role than I'm used to seeing him in, and it was a lot of fun to see him this way, all smiles. He's kind of a jerk to his friend, but he really comes through when his friend needs him. He's still very active with roles in big movies to this day, even doing the recent remake of God of Gamblers. Joey Wong played the local detective named Joey, and has been in a lot of classics like the original God of Gamblers, all three of the A Chinese Ghost Story movies, and Green Snake. This movie gave her a role as the most capable person in the film, and was kind of a change of pace for her usual roles. The bandmate Kudo was played by Tokido Sobero, and he also had a role in A Better Tomorrow 3. He stayed pretty active in Japanese cinema and television. Director David Wu has done a lot more work as editor on big films like Hard Boiled and Brotherhood of the Wolf and countless other classics. He really doesn't have a lot to his name as far as film directing, and of course not really any big hits as far as that goes. He has done a fair bit of composing for movies, and was probably better suited to handling the musical aspects of the film. At the time of writing, this movie could be found on Plex or even here on YouTube. It's a fun film, but it's more like the zany Hollywood comedies filled with coincidence-driven scripts of, say, 1960s Hollywood. Unfortunately, despite being an HK film of the period, you're not going to find any really solid stunts or gunfights. I'd watch for the comedy and maybe the music. Until next time, this has been Stormdog.
Happy birthday, sweet 16. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Happy birthday, sweet 16. Tonight's the night I've waited for, because you're not a baby anymore. You've turned into the prettiest girl I've ever seen. Happy birthday, sweet 16.
而家係新聞摘要，本港股市今晨創出新高點，恒生指數一開始急升250點。經濟界人士預測市道繼續樂觀，令人振奮。
條友咪死老豆啊！
大哥啊，全港觀眾睇緊你嘅，你寬容啲好唔好啊？
你仲係咁嘅死樣咧，我調你5302同勝。
馬斯尤夫共和國總統經過多月來同病魔嘅搏鬥，終於喺今晨逝世。